So, hello everybody. Here we go for another one of these Substack videos. Hope everybody's having a great day wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. As usual, no trade calls, no recommendations, or responsible for their own stuff. We're here for educational purposes only. So, what's happening here? I thought I'd do a little bit of an update on gold. I have seen quite a few people talking about the 200 DMA, the importance of the 200 DMA on gold, that below it, it's the end of the world, yada, yada, yada. And I just thought I would share for those that are interested the way I'm looking at it in my framework for gold. So basically here, without going into all the detail of why this happened or what happened, but I'm working with two ranges, a big range and a smaller range, and bigger picture, just a very choppy environment, right? So the two ranges I'm working with, we got one range formed here. And then you've got a second range, which essentially is this big move. So my base case assumption is that before looking for a big swing structural move or something where you could have more confidence in terms of a multi-day, multi-week swing in terms of an aggressive move, is we need either a break above, right? And that means that would open up that move back into the 6,000 to 8,000 level. Or we need a break below 4,000, call it this bottom end of the range, that would open a deeper unwind into a very big multi-month, multi-year structural level, which is pretty much around the 50 back of the most recent big move higher and this previous high, which is around the 3,500. So I think here it's important to note that even if we break below the 200-day moving average, I don't think there's, I wouldn't get carried away, because you could easily see it moving back into very neutral territory, chopping around in this range. And you could easily see some false breakdowns like this. So I'd be very, very careful here. Now, clearly, the picture structurally is bearish. And again, I'm not going to go into the current rotation and the current correlations we're seeing here, but it makes sense that, especially with the way things are moving now, market continues to trade heavy. And you can see that after this, let's clear this up. After this big range expansion here, we've been making a series of lower highs. We printed a lower low. So clearly price action here is bearish, and everything is pointing to the fact that it wants to test lower. It's pointing to the fact that there's some unfinished business here. And maybe, we need to clear weak stops below there. We have to clear weak longs below that before things can ultimately resolve. And of course, this is linked to the dollar move. And there's some other dollar updates on the Substack. I can do those again, but here right now, the main message is don't be confused by velocity of move or choppiness around here. I think it makes a lot more sense to continue to treat this as two independent ranges. And what that means concretely is that this is a range trade scenario, and this is a range trade scenario, meaning that we break back inside and any bounce gets sold. You're looking for price to want to retest the bottom end of this range. If we go into the bottom end of this range and this bounces or can't get any traction, you're looking for it to continue to stay inside this range until it breaks. Equally here, this is still a range trade unless we close below. So even though the price action is heavy, if you see fake outs, right, then it's still a range trade. You're looking for longs back to mid, back to the opposite side, but it's still a range trade. So I think it makes sense, rather than having unless you're looking at a really big long-term structural view, I think it makes sense to look at these as range trades. And bottom line is this, this 2026 open level, this, call it 4,400 level, is super interesting here as we approach it, because equally on the breakdown, there are interesting trades to be had on a move back into 4,000, but equally because of this compression back into this low, if we fail, well, we know what tends to happen when you tend to see these aggressive moves and they break. We tend to go all the way back into the scene of the crime. So I think here we're getting into, next days, next weeks, this is going to be a very interesting level for gold, both for moves back into the bottom end of the range or back into the bigger range. Okay. Hope this was useful. Wishing everybody an awesome one. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.